Are we on? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights, cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
That's Carl Kessie live in the building. He was a guest on the show recently as well. We had a good conversation with him. Big shouts going out to Carl, in the building. Thank you very much. Madman Insane. That brings us 12 minutes past 9 this morning on the show. We're jumping into our convo real quickly, but don't forget that tomorrow night we are live inside Mad Club. It's inside East Legon. You want to come and see the Culture Squad? Come, we always going to be there, yeah? We always going to be there. Hey, Gen Z, we always going to be there. Yeah.
Then
no,
just continue with the S. We always going to be
yeah. SL2, yeah. We always going to be as Mad Clubs. Yeah. So come through, okay, from 9 p.m. We'll be there. It's going to be a big party. That's how we're starting the month of March, the whole Ghana month, man. Charlie, we're jamming some classic hip life, high life music, GH hip hop, GH rap. Charlie, it's going to be mad things inside the club tomorrow night. Don't miss out. We're going to be there, yeah? And I'm going to
short.
It's short.
Short.
That's what they say. SMTs are short.
Yeah. You buy and share. You buy and share. Anyway, Chris will join us in a couple of minutes. But before we jump into Chris' conversation as well, real quick, let's touch on if you can say it backwards, I give you $5. Say it backwards. LGBTQI.
Oh, A plus. Oh, you don't want the plus.
A plus.
So it's plus AIQTBGL. That's it.
It took a while. We don't
Let me say.
We don't know what for.
IQ.
For a while.
TBGL.
We don't.
IQ TBGL.
Anyway, so guys, we had an earlier conversation about this, but we can see reactions from coming from international organizations as well on their disappointment if the president signs the bill already. The law hasn't been fully passed, right? They need the president to ascend it, and then they can, president for sign up.
That's accurate.
Yes, that's accurate.
That's accurate.
And then it will be passed. Now, we're having a convo on this earlier on in our morning bites, taking each other's opinion on this matter. There is a fine line between the world of today and our values, our true culture, traditional values, morals of us being Ghanaians. Where do we stand now? Accepting a false future, if I can say that, or accepting a true future, or sticking to what we are, which will come at the expense of what international relationships also bring. So at this point in time, I do not want to be the president, I said. I don't want to be. I've heard from Lenny and Cyril already, who are strong on... Cyril wants LGBTQ to be... We don't know. Where do you stand?
Where do I stand?
Yes.
In the middle. I'm standing in the middle because...
Are you taking visa that you are worried? Or?
Yeah. That's also an issue. I would like everybody to mind their business and be free, but I also want to travel.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. No, but that's the truth. I mean, the U.S. ambassador's statement. I mean, you don't need a PhD in political science to understand the last statement that this will affect Ghana's international relations and economy. Because we are in bed, borrowed money from people who have legalized all this and other things. So if you think my money is good enough for you, but my values are not good enough for you, then go deal with your economy on your own. It's business 101. It's like you cannot be hating on my tribe, quote unquote, and then come to me asking for money, which my tribe helped me amass. We go to America all the time for money. We go to other countries for money, bailouts, grants, blah, 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 blah. And most of the people we go and tie our neck with have normalized LGBT, and even there's protection rights against violence against them. And, there's countries now, if you even verbally abuse anybody, for example, pardon my language, if you called somebody gay or you're a lesbian or something, it's abuse, verbal abuse. You lose your job for it. That's how it's got into. So,
okay.
But do we know?
I want to ask the question.
Captured in the bill. It's a lot.
Yeah.
We can't even talk about it. You know that.
Yeah, we can't talk about it.
We can't. It's promotion. Yes, if you talk about
you can't even get a counsel or a lawyer to represent somebody who is allegedly, in that group of
in short, it's plenty.
It's plenty, and that's where I feel like there needs to be some form of amendment, because then
it's stringent.
Yeah, I mean, then what happens to the constitutional rights of the people?
The point of the bill is not necessarily to destroy a group of people. It's also intended to uphold Ghanaian family values. I think that's even the name of the bill. Something's in Ghanaian family values bill, something funny like that. So there's two prongs to the issue. There's the saying no to what is being declared as foreign, and there's also the part where it's supposed to enhance our Ghanaian family values. So that brings into question, what are Ghanaian family values? And those are 99.9% entrenched in our religious positioning, whether Muslim or Christian or the few percentage that are traditional. Regardless, it's always man and woman, whether polygamy, monogamy, polyandry, whatever. It's always man and woman. So when they say Ghanaian family values, it's synonymous. It's just English for we accept man and women interaction. You understand? So it's two things that are being fought.
Okay, I want to understand something.
Remember, we can't promote too. So when we are talking, we have to talk from a strictly.
They don't enact the law.
No, it's not a sentence.
Oh, they will carry forward for you.
No, we could play the video. The video. Today is what?
29th February.
29th February, Thursday, 29th February. It hasn't been signed off yet.
I mean, I have the bill. So
we are in good place.
I have the 36
what I want
page
to
document
ask
here.
Is I do not, and I stated to Mlida that I do not subscribe to it. I mean, it's not in my morals. It's not the way I am. No, in no way that I saw a video of somebody accusing me to be gay. Oh. I was quite surprised. I was like, oh wow.
I can't tell you everything on TV, but Foley is not gay.
And the irony is the person. There are rumors
the accuser
that person
suspected
is based on how they dress, how they behave, how they talk, and how effeminate they are.
I wasn't hurt. I was excited that somebody has seen that I have new superpowers that I didn't know that. Because you see, if I had that one to add this one, hey, then
Charlie, can I just go through the headlines here?
I want to ask this about. It has been in the system for a very long time.
Oh yes.
Before all of us were born.
Yes, before we were born, it's been there. What is this law seeking? Is it to stop people from doing that? To stop, or is it from stopping people from publicly showing that? I don't get it.
I can give you headlines from the bill.
Yes.
I'm looking at the bill.
Okay.
Or the document that says it's the bill.
Yes.
So the duty to promote proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. That's one header. There's another one, prohibition against undermining proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. There's another one that says prohibition of LGBTQIAAP plus and related activities. Now, this is fully detailed. A person commits an offense if a person engages in a sexual intercourse between or amongst persons of the same sex, sexual intercourse between a man and animal.
So pause on that underline. So it is an offense.
Yes.
To engage.
That's what the bill is
to engage.
No, but there's other ones. That's just one. So it's a lot. I think it's a 36 page. So this promotion of the alphabet and related activities has a sub of 1 to 3, and each one alphabet subs there. Yes. A to G, and under the A to G, it's up to IX, which is 9. Sorry. So it's a lot. I mean, a person who holds out as a lesbian, a gay, transgender, transsexual, queer, pansexual, an ally, a non-binary, or any other sexual or gender identity that is contrary to the binary categories of male and female. So basically, this is saying that we only accept male and female.
All right. So hold on. You see, there are people whose genes make them come off as such.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Naturally. Without
Huh?
Who?
No, not jeans
That we-
like
Oh, you mean-
Intadie.
No, not
Is
their
that skinny
clothes.
jeans?
You mean their
I'm talking
genetics?
Genetics.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking genetics. Who comes
Yo, I
as
thought we were
such?
talking about jeans, bro.
What happens to
What's the word? Effeminate, right?
Yeah,
the people are very effeminate.
what happens
They
to
laugh
such
you.
persons? Because
All the throw shot at all the front
I'm
boys.
now worried about
Yeah,
their.
skinny jeans.
All the front boys.
I'm now worried about
Chocolate
their. I'm now worried about their existence, because then you know how people can sometimes take
Bro,
law into their own
not to
hands.
cut you, yeah, yesterday I
Yeah.
saw reactions of some people on the internet, and I said to myself, the National Commission of Civic Education, they've got a lot of work to do. Because when this was passed and the headlines were making the rounds, you see comments like, "Oh, right now they can't beat them."
I've seen the message here saying such now.
Right now they can't meet them.
That's
that
not what
means-
this is.
Yes. So basically, what that means is we may have to deploy the arsenal, all right, government arsenal, that be used for the sensitization of
Sensitization.
COVID-19.
Yes.
I beg you. Let me
During
read.
the COVID-19
I think
I'm
God
coming
beg
over.
you. No.
During the
You might not.
COVID-19.
You might not want to say what you want to say. Let me-
Why?
Because the prohibition of propaganda, of promotion of, and advocacy for activities directed at a child says a person through media, technology, platform, technology accounts, or any other means procures, markets, broadcasts, disseminates, publishes, or distributes, or uses an electric platform, device, internet service, a film, or any other device capable of electronic storage or transmission to produce, procure, market, broadcast, disseminate, publish, or distribute any material information directed at the child, whether directly or indirectly, with intent to evoke interest of the child in activity prohibited under the act previously, which is called child pornography or sexuality.
Yeah.
Teach the child, blah blah blah, and the same set of laws is also under the promotion for the LGBT thing. So I don't think we are even supposed to be talking about.
No. So my point is, if we are not supposed to be talking about it, there is an agency, a government agency responsible for the dissemination of such information.
Accurate information.
Accurate information. During COVID-19, these
NCCE.
and NCCE, which is the National Commission for Civic Education, that is their job. Their job is to deploy, whether vans or PA systems into.
I interviewed
certain.
them. They did them. So they had they had infrastructure challenges. They had logistic challenges. I suppose that it's on tape now, and I'm saying it boldly.
Well, how
that
many years ago was this?
This is COVID 2020.
time.
Yeah, 2020.
I'm hoping they are. God help me, Jesus Christ.
I remember.
How can you tell me this?
Now they have a lot of work to do, because you see clearly people don't even know much about what the. And of course, I'm sure many are going to say that, there are morning shows, they're going to be talking about it. But these conversations are had in the marketplaces. They are had, in places like
How are people understanding the
barber shop?
The barber shops. What's the spare parts place?
Aboso Kai.
These
Kokompe.
Yeah. Magazine, all these places.
Kokompe.
I used to go there until I bought a Mercedes.
Or even the remote areas where some of these attacks happen or seen. They have to actually deploy their people, because if we can't talk about it and we can't at least try to educate, the public who is definitely listening to us via radio or via TV or even on the internet.
TV.
Then you have a lot of work to do. So it's not just enough passing the bill. You need to now actually go around and make sure
people understand
what the bill is.
Or else persons might take it into their own hands and
Because
now just see somebody walking, showing off feminine tendencies or vice versa, and then they just get attacked that you are one. It doesn't work such.
Say, this does not warrant or does not authorize anybody to attack. But you see, you can't control that. The only way you can proactively prevent that is to educate them.
We are still beating each other over tribe and religion.
There is
Dagon crisis has been there for how long?
Charlie, I know.
And there's a post here. Bay Wo Oba Wo Currencies message on Facebook.
This guy has to change his name fast, though. A deep throat sauce before they was by tomorrow.
I don't know what that is. I know of DTS.
You don't know DTS. You don't know about DTS.
Anyway, so move away from that. Real now.
Far.
Let's
bro. At far.
Yeah, far. We'll move far away from that, and then let's go.
We are going far.
We'll get a lawyer. lawyer, or
to
perhaps
break it
one
down.
of the maybe Sam George will be our guest.
Mr. Sam George, I'll invite him.
Yeah,
over,
we would
yes.
like to have him here because
Sam George.
he seems to be at the center of this.
One George Sam.
Yeah, but also I think let me just also say that, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's a blessing in disguise, because of course, if the West obviously do not subscribe to such a draconian, controversial bill, maybe it's about time we start looking at ourselves and start empowering ourselves in our labor.
No, how can we also start forcing certain bills on the West?
No, not me. I'm not even looking at forcing the bills on the way. I'm looking at the fact that the West obviously are going to restrict and limit, maybe.
Yeah, they're going to use resource manipulation.
So maybe this is what we need to take a second look at ourselves and start empowering our industries. Start taking care of our hospitals, our schools, so that you don't have to fly to the West in search of healthcare. Maybe this is what we need.
Then you can do what you want.
Yes, because you can't come and complain and say when you went to the embassy they didn't give you visa.
Also,
or when you went to America,
let me tell you this. Also, let's look at it from the other side. I feel the West also has a certain level of fear if Africa takes control of such things.
So those
because you see, the resource of the world is Africa. The warehouse of the world is Africa.
The engine.
And Africa is getting to the point where it's gradually taking control of its things. Look, if this guy, the one who was killed, the Libyan president, what's his name? Gaddafi had gone ahead with the one currency conversation, for example.
United States of Africa.
I'm telling you, it would have been a very different conversation around the world by now. But unfortunately, we as Africans ourselves aren't united enough to be able to hold such conversations. But I think it's getting to a point where if we start upholding certain laws such as this, these bills that are being passed now, it's going to reach a certain point where the penetration or the infiltration of Western influence would start getting to a certain halt.
Yes.
For us, we are seeing it at the tip. Okay. Yeah. For us, we are seeing it, but I think the deeper picture is 15 years from today.
Goodness.
If you allow, so let me give you a typical example. So a certain department or a certain arm of government or labor decides to go on strike, and they're asking for increment of salary, and government grants it because the people went on strike and it's a threat to the country's growth or development.
Yeah, that's the language.
Another entity will wake up and say, so you did it for this. That is what's happening to Africa now. The second Africa starts taking control of certain narratives, exactly,
Niger, Burkina,
certain narratives, and saying that we are all uniting and saying no to such, or saying yes to this, or saying no to that. Every single day, if you see the whole that statement, and I keep reminding people that divided we fall, united we stand.
But Mali said the best too.
If you divide, you conquer. If you divide them, you conquer. So constantly when there's instability, that's about the best way to be able to you also make your penetration. Look, I keep saying that for look at this COVID thing and all the myths around COVID, for example. Look at Ebola virus and all the myths around the Ebola virus. I keep saying that for the vulcanizer to make money, and then let me that story, that joke that they say that this certain vulcanizer puts needles, stones, cutlass, metals, chips, everything before his shop so that he can generate business for himself by cars to run over it and then tires will burst and he gets business. Where would the guy who manufactures machine guns and ammunition, where would he sell to if there's no war? The one who's producing drugs, of what use will be the drugs in the warehouse if there's no disease to eradicate? You understand? They say they divide and conquer. We have reached a certain point where this is a very sensitive topic, to the cause of humanity for Africans.
I mean,
to where we choose.
We are.
I don't know.
We are probably the third. I think Zimbabwe under Mugabe's regime. He was very vocal about it. He says we don't encourage that. We're not going to allow that. Uganda is looking. Uganda actually did that last year, and I think Rwanda as well. Each of them have their various, penalizations if found guilty. But the question I keep asking myself is ever since they passed these bills, what has happened to these countries, and what has been the economic benefit? I mean, this conversation about the West will not even look at us again, the West will not even look to invest and stuff like that. Okay, so let's look at other countries who have passed it and they have been operating in the last year or two. What are some of the conversations that are being had? I know CSOs like Amnesty International and all them people have been trying to find a way to look at the bill, and protect the rights of these people, because regardless of however you look at it, it's still human rights.
Unless they update a lot of policies that govern access to certain facilities.
Yeah.
Then they update those policies where now, if you are infringing on people's human rights, you can't access X.
And there's also going to be the reverse. The asylum seekers.
Yeah.
Those who are going to jackbar and say that.
A lot of people are going to use this
as an excuse to
immigrate.
Oh, I have a color to my neck.
I mean, even right now on Twitter, people is very funny. Right now on Twitter, this morning, people were just tagging the U.S. Embassy and saying that their life is at risk, and
I think with all of these things too, it's not just about getting up and going to say it, because I'm sure they know that some people will use that. A lot of things will be put in place. They'll probably check your socials.
On a joke, people organize their friends to attack them.
No, they'll probably check your socials to be sure that whatever you are saying correlates your lifestyle.
I'm afraid of
there are so many things. No, but there are so many things they can't check. Your tweets in defending, the community.
I'm not socially active.
All of these things. Do you understand? I'm sure there's one way or the other that they can check. You will not just get up and say that you are under attack, so you want to travel. No, there should be some measures, because if not, everybody will use that as an excuse. Those in and outside of the community. So that shouldn't be please.
Well, anyway, all right. It's 9:32. Sorry that we haven't had our man in the building yet due to a few issues, but he should be here anytime soon. We'll see how much time we can squeeze to make that conversation happen. But we'll be moving on to another trending conversation on language. I mean, on an alphabet. We did LGBTQ. Now I'm moving to A-list.
What?
A-list. Yes.
It's a
battle of alphabet too.
That's a nice transition.
Yes, thank you very much. That'll be 5,000.
No, yeah, that's so. That was
5,000. Chatawale will come and do it. Don't worry.
Yes, you need to throw money.
Please,
I want to state. I think he's in now. I want to state that the money that Shatta gifted the house,
Charlie, he has put us, all of us, in trouble.
People are asking me for some.
Trust me,
people are asking me for money.
I beg. Can I hear by this time and sign?
I beg.
Before Santiwa said she was famous before Singato, no. What for what?
Goa. Anyway, guys, all right.
That's Goa Awards.
Yeah, Goa Awards.
Women targeted at women.
Ghana Outstanding Women's Awards.
Yeah.
She's been around for minutes.
When you said Goa, I thought you Goa out.
Yeah.
It's a very I didn't know. You never call it Goa.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think Chris is in. I don't know if we should invite Chris in now. Yeah. But Goa, I've been a host on Goa. Yes, before.
I see.
The last one I was on was held at the Tang Palace in a hotel. Anyway, so. I don't know. Should we? Is Chris in? I don't know if we should take this on now. Well, okay. So let's touch on the A-list conversation real quickly as well. I'm just being told that we don't have him yet. So the A-list conversation. So the A-list has been trending for a while.
After Sister Debbie suggested that in the context of her.
Cannot talk.
In the context of her boost bars with our brother, her boost bars with our brother.
I thought it was more of a bling bling.
She alleged that our brother picked up the lady, to the Global Citizen concert, and the lady left our brother for an A-list artist. Okay, and I said, I know she's on the road, she's in the boxing ring, she's trying to get her punches across and everything, but Adam is an A-list artist. And then it started a conversation of what is an A-list artist, and Adam cannot be an A-list artist, and and so on and so forth. So yesterday, yesterday all the way until the late hours of the night, it was just been a conversation of who's an A-list artist, who qualifies to be an A-list artist, what are the elements to consider, or what are the categories to consider, in calling someone an A-list artist. I'm of the view that people keep confusing an artist who is hot versus an artist that has paid his dues and has been considered as one of the greats, right? And that is what most of the new generation are up to. So I said, one day we'll wake up in the morning and because Sarkodie is not hot, they'll say he's on the A-list artist.
That's very bad.
Stoneboy may not be hot in the next 10 or 20 years, and we'll say he's on A-list artist.
Still be an A-list.
Or Shatta Wale could not be hot in the next 10 or 20 years, he's on A-list artist. Even Blacko, who we are, excited about and giving all the props to, may not be hot in the next 10 or 20 years, and we'll say he's on the A-list artist. So the conversation
is
who is an
A-list artist?
Right. So I did my research yesterday, and I decided to pull out some, some criteria.
I go follow you around and
some criteria that constitutes, the title of who an A-list artist is. One of them is in high demand. 2 is public recognition. 3 is critical and commercial success.
You have spark war because a lot I want to ask about that.
Critical. So 1 is high demand.
Okay. So
2,
so let's on that first point. So in 4 years time, if an artist is not in high demand but used to be in high demand,
yes. So let's finish then.
You have to go through the whole list before you conclude, because
it's not
one or the other, right?
Yes, you get me. Or even 2 or more. It's not supposed to be like one out of the. These are just possible, characteristics that typically constitutes an A-list artist. So high demand, public recognition, critical and commercial success, award recognition, media presence, social media influence, endorsements, and partnerships. Then there is a nuance of it that introduces legacy and influence, diverse ventures, recognition, and selective projects. So in this one, it says these are artists that choose to release music or perform these projects and are often highly anticipated and receive significant attention, demonstrating their enduring appeal and influence. So it goes back to legacy and then influence. So what that means is, that's why I use the Sarkodie, Shatta Wale, Stoneboy example, that these people may come into a place or go into a place of their career where they may not be hot, but it doesn't take away their legacy. And
was there anything on legacy there? Sorry, I missed it.
Yes, there's legacy. So basically, what legacy and influence means here, what it means here is their impact on music and culture keeps them relevant, even if they're not releasing new music or touring as frequently. Their work continues to influence new generations of artists and fans.
Olele, please read the line again. Please. No, you have sparked something very serious.
It's a very broad, huge conversation. So in terms of the nuance or the nuances such as legacy and influence, it says their impact on music and culture keeps them relevant, even if they are not releasing new music or touring as frequently. Their work continues to influence new generations of artists and fans.
Okay, so their works. Wait, that's last line again.
Their impact or their work continues to influence.
Continues to influence
new generations of artists and fans.
Okay, is Asem an A-list artist?
He is.
So, does Asem's music continue to influence? I'm just using the description there. Continue to influence the new generation.
Yes.
Of
his old music continues to influence the new generation. It's like saying what do you call it?
So at the moment, because I mentioned Asem for a reason. So I want to just roll back to maybe somebody who's before Asem, whose music does not continue. OJ, his soul rests in perfect peace.
Okay.
Yes.
No, OJ is not an A-list artist.
The reason I'm saying that is because there's a new generation who may not have had access to certain songs or are listening to certain songs of old any longer because the artist's relevance is there, but it's just a matter of choice and what is hot. looking at the culture, the pop culture now, of what is they are chasing after what is hot.
Yeah.
So I might go to a club. In fact, I don't recall that in the last 10 events I've been to, I've heard maybe an Assem music.
Right.
But Assem's music was the songs of the day back in the time.
It influenced culture.
So it's influenced. But what does the
culture.
description here say in the last statement that you read?
Their work continues to influence new
Continues
generations.
to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it says if they are not putting out new music or touring, it still contributes.
If
to
you drop an
being
Assem record
A-lister.
today at the club, people will go crazy. Do you get what I'm saying? So even with this, the nuance here is the catalog of music. The reason why people were arguing that, Edem could not fit as an A-list artist is because they thought, I mean, some people did not even know that Edem had he had a crazy run of hit singles and hit songs.
He's got so many hit singles.
To
Edem has so many hit
Attoh
singles.
to what do you call it? You the Craze. And some people actually have actually forgotten that You the Craze, which featured what do you call it? Sarkodie, which actually commercially announced Sarkodie, was off Edem's Volta Regime album. Do you get what I'm saying? Now that is a catalog, or that is a record that influenced arguably our culture in giving us Sarkodie.
And I think we have also limited our A-list perception to the S's.
Yes, because if you want to go deep, so instead I kept asking people, is Samini an A-list artist?
He is.
Super.
You get what I'm saying? Because Samini's music, to be fair, is not the hottest music in the system. But you can't say because his music is not hot in the system, he's not an A-list artist.
It's a super A-list artist.
Samini is arguably one of the first Ghanaian artists to have won as a mobile. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Before the BETs and the Grammys became a thing, Samini was the guy who won us a Gromo. Mr. Benny Gromo. Charlie, defending Ghana music no be easy.
What are they having?
Charlie.
This one.
Gromo.
But that can be your cue to start your own award.
Ohini, I'll put Ohini in the MCR. I've done this before.
Gromo.
Can you play the end video? That's when they take end the show. No, play and come back. That clip.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah. Play for me, Ohini. Ohini, show me love.
You understand? The fact that Samini is not hot today does not mean he's not an A-list artist.
Yeah.
I think we need to separate the two. Like there are artists who are still hot, all right, and they're still relevant, and there are artists who are not hot but still relevant. Okay, there are some artists who are not hot, they are not relevant as it were, right, but their works have contributed to the culture. And that is where people are missing out on.
Let's even use Kwakese as a typical example.
Fantastic. I guess I asked the same question.
He hadn't been active, for a while.
Yeah.
So during the period of his inactivity, would you say that he's no longer an A-list artist? No. Right? And then what happens? So you take him off the A-list, take him to whatever category, and then now that he has released Awoyo Sofo, then you bring him back to A-list. No, that's not the case.
The problem is,
once one, always one.
You see, me, I can say it now because I don't care. I've said it 10 billion times, and I'm saying it again. You can quote me anywhere. The Ghanaian fans are entitled. Ghanaian fans are entitled. They think they deserve the whole world. They think the
and
world
if it's not about their faves, they can bend it.
They are quick
or
to jump
straighten
into
it however they want.
some fan army and fight about nonsense. They are the reason why we don't have unity, because their behavior compels the artist to behave in a certain way. Because when you have 2 million people saying, yeah, we hate Jay Foley, you as the artist cannot go on stage and say, I love Jay Foley, because then you are going against your own fan base. Our fan bases are part of the problem. That entitlement for come out from on our eye. Because I keep saying, you don't know Drake anywhere. You don't know Meek Mill anywhere. You don't know Beyonce anywhere. To give them that abundant, unconditional love and be judging Edem, who has been a pillar in Ghanaian pop culture and Ghanaian music. You are judging Edem and saying because of this, because of that, then you go and
you can't even talk about Ghanaian life
without it. So, boss, we need to call a spade. We need to call a spade a spade. We keep looking for the solution within the execs and within the artist. But the problem is not within the execs or the artists, because they are grinding. Kwakese was here and he has been an astonishing and amazing act through and through, right? And he's gone through so much. Regardless, we didn't care.
Superstar. Oh,
Welcome.
Oh, nice shirt.
Oh,
Looks good.
oh, Chris.
Please, let me see.
You know what? Let me sit. Let me sit.
No, he knows the job.
Jamo, welcome.
Yo, Chris.
Bless you.
Oh, my days, man. Yo,
Even if it was 10 minutes, I had to make it.
Do you know what they have in common? The two of them.
What?
They look the same for years.
Yeah.
No.
The vampire
we
like
went,
The vampire.
we went to tech. We went to KNUST. That's the
It's the
difference. That's the
vampire.
similarity. No, we don't even need it. Yeah, we don't need that.
You may
Well, there you go.
you may not need this. So
Chris, I said, yo, I was talking to my producer. I was like, should we ask him if we should reschedule so we can have a much longer conversation? You know, but I mean, still, it's fine. We're talking something else, but we'll put that on hold. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So to our viewers, apologies on cutting the earlier conversation, but it's something that we'll treat later on. But it's fine. You know, dealing with this whole A-list and who's not A-list and who's A-list. But it's fine. Chris is live in the building. Chris, yeah, welcome to Culture Daily. Welcome to our place, our home. How'd you find our home?
I love it. I mean, Jay, thinking about where it all started to just come back and see you now here in the Element, it's beautiful.
Thank you so much, man. There's a whole story I said I would tell if we ever had a conversation like this. So let me take you all back to 2002.
take us
3.
back, ancestor.
Okay. when did you go for Big Brother?
Oh, man.
That was 2002 or 3.
About 2002, 2003.
Yeah. So I've never said this, but let me just say, if you will laugh at me, but let me just say that we can start a conversation.
You wanted
Okay.
to go for Big Brother?
No, I didn't want to go for Big Brother.
Right.
So I wanted to meet up with Chris, because we're in KNUST. I wanted to meet up with Chris. So I spoke to a friend, a friend to introduce me to Chris. So on that day, so in fact, the friend told me that, oh yeah, I've spoken to Chris, and Chris says you can meet. So I wanted to just have a conversation with Chris on, Charlie, how can I get into media? How can I get, that whole thing. Yeah. So he said, we're going to have lunch somewhere in Idum, Kumasi. We're going to have lunch. Okay, long time. Yeah. We're going to have lunch. So that day, we're supposed to meet at 2:00, right? Oh, Chris was late. So
Of course,
I've never told anybody this, right? Let me just say it was so funny. So I just had enough money for 2 people to sit and eat. That day.
How God is good.
So that day, I went to the restaurant. I was waiting, right? 2:00. They came to ask me because I didn't take anything. I was waiting for the meeting. So they came to ask me that, when did I order anything? I said, I'm waiting for some people to come. So I think you got in there around 3 or 3:30. Fine. But Chris came with 2 other people. The person who did the link up, and then another friend. So now there were 3.
Budget gone up.
But we had a great conversation. I didn't take anything. And thank God, Chris himself didn't take anything. I think it was only the friend who took a bottle of
perfect, just the 2.
Yeah, only one person took a bottle of Coke. Now, I didn't hear from Chris. After the conversation was really good, but we didn't talk again until, I think, like 2 years later. I'm sitting in my studio in Asylum now, and I said, I had your number, and then Chrisattoh called, and I was like, oh my God, Chris is calling me. And then Chris said that, yo, hey, how you doing? It's been a minute, Jay. Like, it's been long. I was like, yeah, it's been freaking long, So he's like,
2 years?
It took 2 years. If it was 2002, then no, there was 2000. If I mentioned 2002, the call came in 2007.
Hey.
Yes.
Wow.
GH1's Rhythm. Chris said, yo, I have a show coming up. I need a soundtrack.
Yep.
So can you help me out? Where are you now? I said, I'm in the studio. He says, I'm coming to see you. I'm like, oh my God. I'm in the studio.
Man.
Fast forward, how many years down the line? Here we are. I'm excited to see you and hear. Chris, where have you been? Because of time, let's just fast forward to 2024. Where have you been? You've been in the movies, but give us a quick journey of where you've been and what you've been up to.
Yo, first of all, good morning, Accra. Good morning, everyone that's listening. Thank you, Jay. I think what you first even started with, that story just goes to show how led our feet are. If you are a believer or not, I think it's important to recognize that our feet are led. Whatever that meeting was about, it led to something, it led to something, it led to something, and here we are. I've been around the world.
I can imagine. You've been around the world.
I've been around the world.
You relocated to Nigeria. what was the experience there? What was the decision? Because I can imagine. I mean, yes, there was Ghana movie, there's Ghana film.
Yeah.
You transitioned from the onstage personality, then boom into the movies. What pushed you into that space? What pushed you to go to Nigeria and then to the US?
You know, at the time, I believe that the necessity was that you had to be in the Nigerian space if you wanted a bigger market, if you wanted a bigger audience. Because Ghana was great, but Ghana is small. And the truth is, if you are trying to get the attention of beyond Ghana, not just Nigeria, you know, then you have to expand. It's almost like being an actor in the States. If you don't have a footing or holding in New York, it's like you're almost, you know, you're dancing around. And the truth is, you know, Nigeria has numbers. Nigeria is making films every single day. And
the hard truth.
For me, I'm always looking forward to where we're collaborating more than separating. This is Ghanaian, this is Nigerian, this is who told you that? We're all God's children. I learned a lot from Nigeria. It gave me a great business sense. It taught me how to be tougher with people. You know, that is the truth. But there are things that have transitioned here that I think will not only bless the generation that's coming. You know, my experience doesn't just come from Nigeria. I moved also to South Africa for a little bit.
Yes,
South Africa. And then finally to the States. And you ask why? It's never enough. Is it ever enough?
What did you learn from these different countries? What were some of the learnings and the things you picked up? You know, the Nigerian markets, the South African markets, and then, you know, the US market.
That the Ghanaian actor has a place not just in all these markets, but in the world. You know, we're doing the same thing. You are called out to rehearse. You will be blocked by a director. You know where your blocking is. You're rehearsing lines. You're doing the same thing as a Ghanaian actor that a DME is doing in Nigeria. And you're doing the same thing that a Dwayne Johnson is doing in America. So that says to me that why limit yourself to just home? You need to shine for the world to see.
But what would you say the limiting factor is? You know, why don't we want to push ourselves? What's that thing that is keeping the Ghanaian focus on Gollywood and Kumawood?
I don't think it's a matter of not wanting to push ourselves. You know, growing up, I always said we didn't have the right mentors. We didn't have people who brought us up and will take your hand and say, this is the way. And it's become a thing that's heavy on my heart. I think that's truly one of the things that even brought me home now. I'm big on mentorship. I was just at NAFTI with Ajete and his students, and we did an amazing, you know, workshop.
Oh, that's nice.
I've got a few things planned where we're looking at putting a few actor workshops together, filmmaker workshops, because this is a time for content. You know, everybody's interested in content.
It's so for you now, it's looking back at home and seeing the wealth of knowledge you've acquired, bringing that back home. But let's talk about some of the things that the projects you've been involved in,
right?
You know, along this journey.
I've had the pleasure of working with some of the most sensational people in the world, and this is what I'm talking about: the fact that, you know, if you stay in Ghana, that's great, but if you expand, then you learn more. I've been in rooms with Omari Hardwick. You know, I sent you a few photos.
Yeah.
I don't know how much we get to see. But again, it's not about the names. It's about taking the knowledge from these people who are obviously successful to the world and saying, how can I emulate that? And then how can I pass that on to the next person who's coming in my my footsteps?
What have been some of the most exciting productions you've been in? Tough. Let's start with Tough first. Yeah. And what made them different from some of the, you know, in comparison? Because you've also worked with Shirley and Co. and all here.
Indeed.
What are some of the differences that you pick, you know, aside from the fact that we understand their limitations?
I would always say that, you know, the last project you work on is always going to be your most challenging. But you learn two main things. That you have to represent yourself. If you're coming from Ghana, and everybody knows you're coming from Ghana, you have to represent yourself, meaning you have to be as professional as it gets. And when I got out there, here's the truth. My first audition, I flunked like an you know, I got out there thinking...
You felt you didn't cut it?
I did not cut it. In fact, the guy told me I probably won't make it in this town.
Wow.
Hey.
And that was maybe about 5 years ago when I just got into Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because for someone who's an established actor.
But and that's the whole thing.
Like, was he being nice, or he was just?
He was being honest. And this
there's no space for nice.
The truth is,
business.
you have to relearn everything. You cannot take the knowledge from here as it is and go out there and think, oh, I'm going to make it.
I'm going to run them.
That's the truth.
Wait, be technical with me. What probably didn't make you cut it? Because you're a fine actor.
Okay. You know why Dwayne Johnson is paid $1 million to come act? Because the truth is, there's so much more required of the actor. And I had to learn that. So I had to put myself back in school. It wasn't just about deliver the lines, which I can do, but you're now coming from a much deeper place. Yes, you're delivering the lines, but what else is happening? You now have to train for VR, which is becoming a big thing now. You're an actor that's just going to wear a green suit and know where certain things are.
So you have to be in the character.
There you go. It's like any other industry. It's growing, it's updating, and if that knowledge is not being passed down, how else would you learn? And so I'd say, that's one of the things, that definitely I take away.
So basically, if you study as an actor, not study though, if you have experience as an actor here, what is out there in the world, it's possibly like...
It's here's the thing. You are dealing with studios that have put millions of dollars on the line. They don't have time for a lot of things. You are going to come in there and be excellent. And so the truth is, it's not even about the training, but are you excellent? And that means, are you training every day? Are you on it every day? Is this your craft? If I wake you up, are you on it? If I give you a script, in 2 seconds, can you break it down for me? You walk into an audition with something that you've studied all night, and maybe you actually impress, so they're like, oh, you know what, let's see you do something else. Can you take a quick look at this, step out 5 minutes and come back? All that it takes training. It takes time, it takes learning, it gets, and it doesn't just come to you. It literally means every single morning, if you have to wake up and spend an hour in front of the mirror and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse. It means reading outside your scope, reading. That's something I keep pushing, especially to our youth today. We don't read enough anymore. And that's how you expand your mind, both as an actor and an individual. How are you going to have control over the words in the script and translate them if you have no control over the English language, if you can't read? There are a lot of people who can't read aloud today. I could take this right now and be like, oh, read it aloud. It's a little... Even from school time, and this is not to bash. These are the challenges that I faced, and I'm sharing with you because we're an excellent people. I don't see how we can't shine wherever. And if you are representing Ghana on one of the coveted stages in the world, then you better come correct.
In coming correct and then being the blueprint and mentorship, how would you say you got your foot, through those doors?
Yeah.
Because it's one thing wanting to be there, and then is another thing actually, taking the step and then getting through the doors.
God's good grace and a lot of sacrifices. Some of the sacrifices I don't think I've gotten over today. However, I recognize that because there is something bigger and there is a vision that God has and a purpose that God has, which is why I'm still here today. The rest of it is grace. I know nothing else. I only know how to fast and pray.
Because I was going to ask how you work out the politics of such a very, very, very huge and complicated and complex competitive space. How you have to work how do you get your next job? How do you pitch to the next thing? How do you hear the next audition happening? How do you be part of the production of the next thing happening? Because that's what's going to move you to the next, And you've done that, in quite a number of productions. To move from Nigeria to SA to the US, is there something that you need to understand about the business?
That it is a business. That it is a business. Going through all these places and, and learning these things, I think mostly what's important is to be able to bring that home. To be able to bring that home and to be able to ready the next generation, I was in the middle of answering, and I don't know if I completely finished answering your question.
Aside the God's grace part.
Right. And then just
and prayer, so.
Yeah, fasting, prayer, but just generally being, in your heart, if you are looking for something, and you pray about it and you want it badly enough, you've heard it before, the entire universe will conspire to give it to you. And relationships are everything, good relationships, because people want to work with people they like. People don't want to work with people they don't like. If you didn't like Jay, you wouldn't sit in the studio how many hours with him, So however you are, wherever you go, however you represent yourself, it's attitude, and it's good attitude.
Okay. So it all comes together.
It does.
That's nice.
Our time is up. I wanted to be sure of the clip, to which one to play, because quite a number of them I received.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Of which one, but let's talk about the last project that you're on. Yeah, tell us about
Nine. You know what? Nine is, and this is of course different from all of the being able to work with a lot of these actors gave me the window to a lot of producers, and I managed to interest one or two of them in coming back home and shooting something here, shooting something in LA,
Would that be the one we can put up?
You can put that up.
Okay.
That would just be just a recap of some of the work that I've been doing out there. But yeah, I managed to convince a studio to party up with me, my company called A Factory. John's very familiar with that company. But we brought down crew members, actors from Hollywood, actors from South Africa, actors from Nigeria, and of course actors from Ghana. And we had a beautiful collage of artistry and crew members putting their best together. And we came up with this movie called Nine. It was over 165 crew members. And again, this is how I'm talking about giving back. I could stay in Hollywood and shoot, but at the end of the day, not only do I miss the fufu, people here, my people here, need to learn, need to grow, need to, and this is also my way of sharing the culture. So the movie quickly revolves around a detective who loses his daughter in a missionary work. She comes to Ghana to do missionary work, and unfortunately she passes. And so he flies down to Ghana to find out what it is that's going on or investigate. And he bumps into 9 warriors who are by day, regular people, but by night fight supernatural and superhuman abilities.
Hey.
So
we're looking at a sci-fi here?
Sci-fi / thriller / our own stories, the witchcraft stories, the
and it was shot here?
Shot here in Ghana.
Chris, I know time is up, but I just wanted to ask you, Julia has talked to us about the challenges with, shooting such huge or big budget films. Right. Personally, what have been some of your challenges? Or even shooting with 9, in terms of equipment, in terms of resource, labor. Now the president says they're going to look at giving you guys a 20% tax rebate,
yes.
And all that. But I just wanted to know what some of your challenges were shooting the movie.
So glad you asked, because you know what? I think it's efforts like this that have eventually gotten the president to take notice and gotten, Juliet's work to also be recognized, and Juliet has done a really good job. Now with some of these incentives, we're able to bring more work home.
Right.
There's already talk of Girls Trip 2 wanting to be shot in Ghana. Why don't we all want to be a part of that? I think it's furtherment of that, and of course it's the money. If you want to make something beautiful, we want people who have the money and are ready to invest. It's a safe industry. What people don't understand about film is, especially when you don't understand the distribution process, it's like, oh, how am I going to make my money back? Trust me, we're all in it. It can be a little crazy, but it is an industry that's worth investing in, because it's also how we tell our stories and how we record our history, and it's how we give ourselves off to the world.
My final question, our time is up. It's really up. We have to go. But,
you're gonna kick our butts.
When you were telling the story about the movie you shot about 9, the story is different. Now, when we come back to when we are producing, I don't know whether it's because I don't know maybe because it's of Western influence, but when we're producing stories here, it's like you can just tell the story right from the beginning. You know how it's going to end.
Right.
So there's very little interest on the storylines, and we've spoken heavily about this. Right. What influenced an idea like this, real quickly, before we go?
Honestly, we need to improve on our writing.
Right.
We need to improve on our writing, and everything starts from the writing. Especially, that's the blueprint of the film that you're going to make. And I've often heard people say, "Oh, Ghanaians might not like that," or Ghanaians. The truth is, we give Ghanaians what to process. And so, as writers out there, if you're out there, yes, let's do the challenging stuff. If we can go into the cinema and watch a foreign movie for 2 hours and we get it, then we can complicate our stories even more, you know. And that's something that I was definitely looking out for when I was shooting 9. It's I don't think it's predictable, but it will have all the elements that we're used to, but done on a Hollywood scale, and hopefully, it puts Ghana further on the map.
Chris, I don't know if the team had that clip ready on the reel that I was going to share, but if not, okay. I think our time would have to be cashed. But I mean, Chris, there's a lot to talk about. Okay, I'm being told it's ready now. So
okay, let's just go
let's just check it out. We'll be right back. Check it out.
So I'm going to take all those I love you moments where I can.
So there's more than meets the eye.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, no, you're good. I expected you to be one.
Please, just hear me out.
You better leave before I mace your ass.
The senior partners at my firm are getting probing questions about McCall and Associates. Now, I heard the same from my source at LAPD. Brittany, something big is going down. Think about Randall and Tani Jarvis's divorce. They saying Lacey, she can make certain cases go away. Now, you need to get out of here while you still can.
Don't tell your mom. I'll go you an early birthday present.
What is it?
Now, it's just a little something to commemorate your transition from boyhood to teen. All right? In other words, the transformation into a warrior kid.
Give it.
So I'm going to take all those I love you moments where I can.
So there's more than meets the eye.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, no, you're good.
Chris, there was a lot I wanted to ask, but anyway, I'll save it. A lot of production conversation I wanted to ask, but we'll save it for later. We'll try and squeeze this man back again into the studio. We will try and do that. But thank you so much for honoring the invitation still at the end of the day. That's what's most important.
There you go.
Yeah, and here we are. We can only thank God for bringing us this far, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so please, on that note, we are out, and this year, 9 will come out this year, hopefully.
This year, look out for it. We're going to have a huge premiere in Ghana, at least obviously to honor the home country.
Yeah.
And with things like the incentive coming up, to honor people like Julia Lasante's work, and to just keep pushing, further.
Yeah, definitely.
Best of luck.
On that note, our time is up. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, Jay, don't kill me. If I don't leave Ghana with something, something, you know what?
Hey.
Everyone out there, remember, if you keep doing what is hard, your life will be easy. If you keep doing what is easy, your life will be hard. Take that with you. It's a beautiful Thursday.
Boss! Thank you very much, Chris. On that note, we'll catch you tomorrow here on Culture Daily.